which is the latest version 2020.2 release, which was recently released and it was much awaited for every one of us. Yep, so let's see how can we do installation of the latest version. For that, you just have to move to this particular website, which is kali.org. After coming on this website, you have to navigate to this particular option, which is downloads, and click on download kalilinux. Once you have clicked on download kalilinux, you have to navigate down and you have to click on the image version that you want to download. You can choose any one according to your requirements. If you want to install a 32-bit version, you can install the 32-bit or the 64-bit as well. We are going to go ahead with the 64-bit version. So I will just simply click on it. Once I will click on it, it will start downloading. As you can see, I have already downloaded this. The size is 3.86 GB and it took me around 15 minutes to download this onto a normal connection of 20 Mbps. Alright, so after I have downloaded, now I'm going to open my virtual machine. I have VMware running. You can also install this in VirtualBox. The steps are exactly the same. Now I will click the plus button and click on new. As you can see, it says install from disk or image. So I'm going to install from an image that we have recently downloaded. So I'm just going to drag and drop that particular image file that we downloaded and drop it over here. Alright, so once we drop it over here, it is going to show us that how many disk images this particular tool has found into our computer. So it has found that there are two operating systems. One is Parrot, other one is kalilinux. So we need to install the Kali version. So we will select that particular version. And we will go ahead. In case you want to install the Parrot version, you can go ahead and select on Parrot as well, and it will start installing the Parrot version. Okay, so if I click this and click continue, the Parrot version will start installing, but we want to go ahead with Kali version. Now here you have to choose the operating system for the virtual machine. So as we are installing Kali Linux, so it is a Linux operating system which is based on Debian flavor. So over here I will just choose Debian 10 64-bit and hit continue. Next, it is going to ask you to specify the boot firmware, wherein you have to keep it default, which is legacy BIOS. Now you can see we are about to finish our configuration, wherein you can see the hard disk space is 20 GB, memory is 2 GB, network is NAT network. So I'm going to modify this settings. So I want to give the memory size as 4 GB instead of 2 GB. And let us say we also increase the processor to 2 cores. All right. I also want to increase the hard disk space from 20 GB because that is comparatively very low for the installation, as there are many pen testing tools which are installed already. So I need to give more space. So a good practice will be give at least 50 GB of space to Kali. Remember, you can modify the settings later on, and you can attach a hard disk if you want. So you can always increase the space in future if required. Alright, so I'm going to start the machine by clicking on it, and you can see a beautiful installer menu like this. So we are going to choose the first option, that is graphic install, and we are going to install the machine. After you have clicked that particular option, the machine will start loading, and we have to wait till we get the installer menu and the installation starts. Alright, so here we can see it is asking us to select a language. So we are going to select a language, and then it is asking us to select location. So let's say we select India and hit continue. Next, the configure the keyboard, so we can configure the keyboard as English. Now it is detecting and mounting installation media, which is basically the image file that we have downloaded. It is going to take a couple of minutes to install. For me, it took exactly 1 hour, 2 minutes to install on this configuration that we have set it up of 4 GB of RAM. My computer has i7 processor and it still took me 1 hour, 2 minutes to set up the whole process. So I have skipped most of the part of waiting and I have only included the important part that you need to see. When this Linux process asked for several options and inputs while the installation is going on. So as you can see now, it is asking to configure the network. In that, it is asking you to put a host name for your machine. So in the host name field, I'm going to type Hacktify and I will click continue. Next, it is going to ask you the domain name. So in the domain name of my network, so let's say I type hacktify.in. If you do not have a domain name or host name, you can just leave it blank. The blank is Kali. Now this is the important step, whereas this machine is asking to give a full name for the user that it is going to create. So you can give your username. I'm giving here Rohit. Now username for my account. So I will again give Rohit. Now the machine will ask you to set a password and confirm the password. So I'm going to type the password. Remember, you give a password which you can remember. Now our setup of users have been successfully completed and the installation process will initiate. As you can see, the partition disk is happening and you will come to this particular menu where it will ask you to choose the partition disk. So we are going to choose all files in one partition, which is recommended for new users. And partition disk, last step, you will see finish partitioning and write changes to disk. You have to choose continue. And over here, it will ask you, do you want to write the changes that you have done? Which means you have to choose yes and click continue. So after you have done all the settings and preferences for your installation, the installing of the base system will start. The operating system will start getting extracted and it will install all the particular packages one by one. As you can see, the installation has begun and it will take us some time to finish the installation. It is configuring apt, configuring different dependencies, installing kernel, everything. As you can see, it is installing Python, Linux image. It is unpacking and doing a lot of stuff in the background for the installation. Let me skip this and move ahead. As you can see over here, after it has finished installing the base system and when it is installing the apt, that is the package manager, it will ask you for a proxy for configuring the package manager. In case you do not use any proxy, you can just leave it blank and hit continue. So we are going to leave it blank and hit continue. Okay, so the configuration of apt is happening. Once it is done, it will automatically move on to the next step. Remember, apt is the advanced package tools for Kali Linux to install any particular software from the repository. Similarly, like you install softwares into your mobile phone through Play Store if you have an Android. If you have an iPhone, then you install applications from the App Store or the iOS Store. Similar kind of store is there, which we call it as a repository. There are different repositories of Kali that are hosted worldwide. So after the package manager has been set up, we will come to the software selection. You can choose or customize the desktop environment and different collection of tools over here. We are going to go with the recommended settings. As you can see, we have chosen desktop environment, Kali's default desktop environment, top 10 most popular tools, the default recommended tools available in the live system. So these are the default one, and we will keep these settings and hit on continue. Once I hit continue, it will select and install the softwares which are required that we choose into the default top 10 softwares. So again, it is going to take a couple of time, and it will lead to finishing of installation of softwares. As you can see on the screen, it is installed WP Scan, which is WordPress Scan, and other different tools. As soon as this installation has been completed, it will install the grub bootloader. So while it is installing the grub bootloader, it is going to ask us something. So it will ask, do you want to install the grub bootloader on the MBR, which is the master boot record? You simply have to choose yes and continue. Then it will ask you, what is the device for bootloader installation? Over here, you have to choose the first partition, that is SDA. So we will choose this partition and hit continue. Now it will start installing the Grand Unified bootloader. After that process is done, it will finish the installation process. And you can see once the installation is complete, our machine is going to start. Alright, so we have finished the installation, and we open up the kalilinux, and it looks beautiful over here. The grub is actually very beautiful, and this is the boot animation, which is quite impressive. Now we come here to the login screen. Let me quickly log in with my username that I have set it up. So it was Rohit and the password. Let us see the first impression and how it looks. So it looks quite very good. It has been improved a lot. The user interface and the UI looks very, very different. Alright, so even the terminal looks quite impressive, and you can see over here the layout and everything is good. Okay, so let's see the tools, and yeah, all the usual tools, everything is still there. Information gathering, vulnerability analysis, everything is still there, but the icons has been changed. Okay, so I hope you guys understood how you can install and set up Kali Linux 2020.2. I hope you guys understood. Thank you.